This review contains spoilers. After Alma altered the timeline and cut herself, Jacob feels to have to tell her everything. He shows her his mother who does hum a melody which she said she heard in a dream. Then she is talking to somebody who isn't there. Alma gets distracted by her revelation about Sam and wants to deal with it. Jacob tries to make her focus on what's important for him, and Alma looks into the past of Sam. After she says sorry to Sam, Alma tells him everything about Jacob, and this against Jacob's advice. Let's jump into the review. We continue in the episode where we left in the previous one. Jacob shows up and tells her that she has altered the timeline. Alma says not really, which he acknowledges. So, did she or didn't she do it? Jacob says it doesn't matter because she has it. I guess he's speaking of the ability as a whole, but I'm not certain. So, we see his mother cleaning and humming a melody. Little Jacob is asking what she is singing. She tells him it's something she heard in a dream, which makes little Jacob smile. Then she is talking to someone who isn't there. Can it be that she's talking to the same Jacob as Alma does, but an earlier version? The other question is, if she's talking to Jacob, then why do we not see him? I mean, she may be really just schizophrenic, but Jacob said in episode 2 that she wasn't crazy, but had the same ability, but got in some way lost in the process. But Alma could be schizophrenic as well, so yeah. Alma's mind is wandering because she remembers that she broke up with Sam. She's confronting him. He is defending himself that Becca is responsible and she blackmailed him and that she's a liar. Alma starts to get emotional and she tries to calm herself so she doesn't jump away from the moment, which didn't work. Because Jacob is again the one who made her jump. We see Jacob, Camilla and the kids on a vacation. He shows them the El Bano del Rey, which means Bath of the King, and sorry if I butchered the name. I ask myself, why is he showing Alma this vacation, and why is he focusing on being interested in what could be special about this Bath of the Kings? On the other hand, you have Camilla, who has a more simple point of view. My theory is at the moment that Jacob is trying to trigger something in Alma, so this whole process of time travel can be evaluated. I think that Camilla knows this, and I know I may be overthinking this, but it would make sense with what we will see in this episode. It would also explain why her mother is so extreme worried and wants her to take the medicine she got in the previous episode. Alma then asks Jacob if he brought her here. He says yes because important and there is a lot she has to learn. She tells him that she wants to help him and do this with him, but first she has to deal with this situation. And then we get this weird transition and we are back in the conversation. Now he is not defending himself but explaining what happened and how. She wants him to leave and he admits that this was a terrible thing to do. She then takes out her hearing aid and lies on the bed. We then jump back in a time in which she lost her hearing. This episode makes such a good job in showing you and in experiencing this disability. The people in the hospital in which she is made a scan of her brain. The pictures look the same as the one Jacob showed Thanos. We have then this very cute scene in which Alma seems to be happy and is dancing and has fun. Jacob brings her back to the Bath of the Kings. Alma, still in the mindset of being where she was when she danced, tells him that she wants to stay in the sign language. And he has then such a good line. Yeah, but happiness can be an escape. I never thought of this in this way, and I have to think about this. But it feels important. Alma says to his line, well, that's depressing, which is fair enough and sounds true too. I love then this interaction with this guy. His guitar is a concha and it's made out of an armadillo shell, which was a blessing because it carries within the key number of the whole universe. What does this mean? I don't know. I don't think that he speaks about math though. She then asks, really? He then continues with, you also carrying a universe within you. She asks, I do? And he continues with, I'm gonna sing a song for this universe. And she is like, okay. And he starts to sing. I don't know why, but I really love this exchange. And if you know what the numbers of the universe mean, then please let me know in the comments below. Jacob listens and concludes that this is the same song his mother was humming. And does Jacob wear here the same shirt as little Jacob? And if yes, does it mean something, or is it just to show us that little Jacob and Jacob are the same? He tells the Candonace that he knows this melody from his mother, and she heard it in a dream. The Candonace says to Jacob that she was maybe a priestess, like this little one, so he seems to have this kind of insight, which made Jacob investigate schizophrenia and the brain. Did Jacob also kind of had Alma in this idea due to the Candonace, who said that Alma is like this? He then says that Fernas and he set out to replicate the abilities by using some of their ancient techniques on their students who had larger brain pockets. Later we learned that he was successful with this, but never in that way like Alma can do it. She seems to be more powerful than them. Alma then tells Jacob that she saw him looking at her brain. She asks him if he experimented on her. He answers that her mother wanted that Alma decides this on her own when she's old enough. But at the same time, while they talk about this, we see more scans and how it seems to progress, which suggests that he not just had this theory already, but did experimented on her in secret as well. Then we jump to a moment in which Alma's parents explain to her that she can undergo surgery to be able to hear again or not. Camilla and Jacob have slightly varying opinions. He has the opinion that she doesn't have to do it if she doesn't want it, and Camilla wants her to do this. While they explain it to her, Camilla and Jacob start a little argument. This shows us that there are other problems between them, which is normal because of human relationships and correct communications and stuff. And the question of what would be the right decision in this case is also pretty interesting. Something like this is rarely black and white, I would say, but being able to hear can be something very beautiful, and to never hear music or nature or something is a big loss. On the other hand, the surgery could be dangerous and you never know what could go wrong. What I really like was that they stopped arguing after Jacob said Alma is reading their lips. We jumped them back into the situation with Sam. He's kind of opening up now, that he didn't know what to do and that he was really scared. He wants to end the fight and asks if they can acknowledge that things have been complicated for both, which doesn't sound reasonable for Alma. And I get it. I can only imagine how betrayed she feels, which is understandable, but then the show makes something really good. So she let go of his hand and goes into another room. And now we see the first time not a memory from Alma nor Jacob, but from Sam. Jacob wants to push Alma to let this go and wants her to focus on the important things. We see Kid Sam and he doesn't want to leave his home and his friends to go to the US, but he has to say goodbye. It jumps then to Alma and she also says goodbye to her friend. Sam gets irritated by the behavior of other kids, and Alma sees all of this. We see Alma who has to deal with similar things. Then we see Sam alone in his room practicing pronunciations. And then it jumps back to Sam in the present and he says sorry to Alma. The way they showed us how he had to leave his friends, go into a foreign country, had not an easy time, seems to be very lonely. Then Alma broke up, which I can imagine wasn't easy for Sam. Then learning of the accident and Alma being in a coma. It does such a good job in taking us with the characters on their journey without pandering. Alma is then in her bathroom and sees in the mirror the keys she practiced with. It switches the perspective and we see how Jacob's students work on the same tricks. Alma touches the mirror and something happens. I don't know what this was, but Jacob is like, you see what you are capable of? I mean, I didn't see it. Alma asks him what the light was around the keys. He just says that what you are already doing. Is it just me or is this not really an answer? She asks him if she needs a group and he's like, nope. You are far more powerful than we ever were. I don't know if he says this because this is true, which can be the truth, but I can also imagine that he wants her to do what he wants. It could be easier for Jacob to get what he wants when he makes sure that no one is interfering and she has nobody to turn to. I still not trust Jacob. Sam is like, Alma, don't shut me out. Alma is like, I love him, but I just can't forget this. And Jacob is like, relationships are hard and it's better not to have them if you want to do what you want to do. That father of the year, I guess. He then argues that he understands her and he knows her power and so on. But until now, he doesn't really spend quality time with her. Everything is just about this one thing. And I get it. It's a thing of life and death. But do they not have enough time to change it because of time manipulation and stuff? Then he can try a little to build a relationship, which is more than just, you have this power and I want you to save my life and I want you to not have a boyfriend, which is just disruptive when it comes to this, what we wanna do. But he steps aside and she goes out and it jumps to how they met the first time and how their relationship developed. At some point, Alma says that things were great and the bathtub Alma tells her that this wasn't for her. I don't know if this is a time thing, like in the elevator in episode 2 in which present Alma speaks to future Alma. She then takes the point of view of Sam when Alma is still in a coma and she says to herself that her hand feels so small to him. I mean, she's literally in his place. Does she also feel his emotions and not just the physical stuff? It is a very good and touching scene, so I have the feeling that it tries to show us exactly this. It jumps them back to the bathroom. Jacob is kind of surprised that she made it back again and adds that doesn't always happen. She opens the bathroom door and says to him that she loves him and that she is sorry. We are now in this moment in which we were in episode 2 when Alma jumped around, and then in one of the jumps she was 2 weeks after leaving the hospital. She then tells him that she loves him and that he is the only living person who gets her. This is funny because her father seems to get her too, and he's dead. She explains then why she broke up with him. She wanted to protect him from herself. She is now in opening up mode and tells him that she's fucked up. Sam wants for Alma to know that she can tell him everything. Jacob says she shall not tell him the truth, and I have to be on Jacob's side when it comes to this. I don't trust him, but nothing good will come from telling Sam this, especially if you don't have proof for what you are saying. And maybe the next episode deals with this. I don't know yet. She doesn't want to be alone with this, and both say at the same time, "You are not, you have me." This shows us so good her struggle to decide what she shall do. Sam says, "Nothing you say is gonna scare me off." After she asks him if he promises, Jacob goes away. So she tells him everything about seeing her dead father, about training to change time and outcome of his death. Sam is like, and then it hits her so much with her realization of being wrong and telling him the truth. This episode was so extremely good and a little bit rough on an emotional level. This episode made such a good job to convey the emotions of the characters, and it was so well done with the language barrier and us showing the being death part. And I have so many questions, like the number of the universe thing. What was this in the mirror? Is she maybe crazy? And many, many more. So, this was my review of episode 5. What did you think about this episode? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on Twitter. You can find the link in the description box down below. Thank you for watching. Have a nice one. You take care. See ya.
They have large ventricles.
Oh, sexy.
Ventricles are the central pockets of fluid in the brain.
I know. What's sexier than big pockets of fluid?
So,
right?
okay, I got to thinking maybe